Good morning and Dumela. Today we are going to make Umqombothi. So let's see what's in the ingredients. Okay, so step one is mixing all of your dry ingredients into one bowl. Just adding it all together. And I like to add the sugar now because it will just help speed up the process. Okay, so with all of your dry ingredients, you're going to add 500 milliliters of boiling water. Just took this out. So I'm not adding everything immediately, just so that I can stir. As well, just mix it thoroughly. You want a thick paste, you don't want a slushy mix. So just a thick paste, as I said. So this is the second day for making the beer. I've got a pot on with 1 liter of water in. I'm just waiting for it to start boiling. I'll quickly move you down so I can show you. Just Well, it's not like you can see anything in there at the moment. As you can see, I just watered with about 200 grams of brown sugar. So the only thing that we need to do now is get the porridge that we made yesterday, add that to the water. So let me do that now. So you can see it looks like a sludgy mixture. Now normally if you use the all grains, you would not have it like this porridge mixture that you have. So I'm just getting all of this into the water, and what we're trying to make is a thick paste. So only 1 liter of water with this one, and I have to say it already smells like a beer. You've got that nicely fermented smell already from this. I have to say this looks quite delicious actually. Looks like a little bit of pop. I mean, all South Africans love the pop, so why not? Okay, so with this, as I said, with the fermentation that started, it's already starting the process a little bit, but unfortunately right now we are going to kill the fermentation process because we are going to bring this whole pot to a boil while making the porridge part of this. So I'll show you now how all of this looks like. Let me just drop this quickly down here. So there you can see some of it. I'm just trying to add as much as I can. Don't worry, I'm not going to record this part for the next 40 minutes to 45 minutes because firstly, it's going to bore all of you. Secondly, I'm just going to talk a lot for 45 minutes to myself. It's not like I don't do it in any way. So that doesn't bother me at all. But some people might think there's something wrong with me. And I'm not disagreeing that they're wrong. I'm just stating the fact. So as you can see, all of that bubbles as well. That's due to the fermentation process that has started already. And the smell is somewhere in between a bread and a beer. So it's an interesting smell because you normally don't think of bread as something that you're going to drink. But in this case, I think we might be getting somewhere with this. So as I said, I'll show you every now and then if I see any changes in this, because this has to boil now. I'm going to bring it to a boil for about 40 minutes or until it's a thick paste. I do not know exactly how long that's going to be, and every batch is different. So I'll see you soon. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes now, and I don't know if you can see, but it's already thickened a lot. So I just want to show you, if I pick up the spoon, it's already clumped to it. So I just want to get that off so I can quickly show you the rest. It's already starting to form a thick porridge. So, and you just want to continue stirring this for the duration of the time. You don't want any of the porridge to settle at the bottom, because that's when it will burn. So just a continuous stir. Okay, so I'll show you again in a little while what the process is. See if I can focus on that right there. Just look at that. See if I can get another scoop on. Nice and thick. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes now, and I just wanted to show you the difference now. As you can see, let's quickly see if I can. Sorry, wrong button. Okay, right there. So, if I can just quickly show you, not like that, just in there, it's a thick porridge. So as I said, this has been about 20 minutes now, so I'm going to go for another 20 to 25 minutes depending on how it will feel, because this is all it's about. You can't say exactly it will be for an hour or 45 minutes. Just if you want to make this, please just use a little bit bigger spoon than what I'm using, because I've had a couple of instances where I've dunked the tips of my fingers into the porridge and it does burn. So just be careful. Remember, this is hot, and don't do what I do. It's not the best idea ever. So as I said, just use a little bit longer spoon which you can grab hold of and mix it well, because this is hot and a small spoon is not really going to work. I unfortunately have lost my big one, so this is all I have. I'll see you again in a couple of minutes. Okay, so this has been about half an hour now, and it is getting really thick, as you can see this. And it just made me think of matabella pop. So any of you out there who's ever had matabella, simagogo, go give her a hug, because this is a long straining job for so little bit of porridge. If you look at the quantity, I mean, this is 2 liters of water with all of the ingredients, which makes it about 3 liters, 3 kilograms roundabout. So don't disrespect the magogo. Go give her a hug and tell her thank you for all of the matabella and the porridge she's ever made you. Okay, this is not a fun job. The fun part comes next. Well, not next, but the fun part's still on its way when drinking. You know, the puza. That part's the fun part. Right, so this has been 45 minutes now. And as you can see, it's a nice thick porridge. So if you want to, you can eat this as is, but that's not what we're going to do now. So what I've done is just turn off the water. Now with the coarse sorghum and cornmeal, it is not going to look like this. At the moment, most of the stores are sold out of cornmeal and sorghum. So unfortunately, this is what I have to make do with. So in the first batch, I used 2 parts of 500 milliliters water just to get everything mixed. Mixed it and let it set for 24 hours. Secondly, I got another liter of water, which I brought to a boil, added that whole concoction, and then thirdly, right here, which is what I'm going to show you now, because this is all hot, is add cold water. Just stir that through. Now traditionally you would have to mix this by hand so that you can get the feeling of it. Okay, so as I said, traditionally you would mix this part by hand, but because I couldn't find the longer spoon earlier, I'm going to use that one now. So just try and mix that thoroughly. And I think mixing it by hand might be a good idea, but this is still warm, so I'm not going to. I've burnt a couple of times today and I do not want to burn more. So porridge can get really hot, so just be careful with that, as I've said earlier. And we're just going to try and mix this through. As you can see, it's already watery. It's not a drinking consistency yet. As you can see, there's still a lot of porridge in between. But day 4 or 5, when the yeast has done its job, that should be better. Because then we're going to filter all this out. Okay, so, yes, I know I'm playing with my food. Sorry. Just get so excited. Anyway, okay, so day 3 and 4, you can leave, all of this will depend on how long you want to leave everything. The longer you leave it, the more alcohol you'll have. Just have to be careful with that. If you leave it too long, you might make it acidic, and you don't want that. So in this instance, this is normally a whiter beer because of the corn and the sorghum in this one, which is the meal and not the coarse sorghum, has unfortunately made this a really dark color, which is not how it looks like traditionally. So we'll see on day 3 or 4 if it has the same taste. And then we can decide on that. So just stir this through thoroughly and let it cool down before you put it in any other container. This is an aluminium container, so obviously I won't melt it. But if you do transfer this to a container that you want to keep it for the next couple of days, make sure it is cold enough to the touch. Try touching the pot, not the finger in the pot. Right. Okay, so I have left it for a little while just to cool down. As you can see, it is almost a liquid again. So from here we just want to get it into a container or bottle that you're going to store it in for the next couple of days. I'm using a 5-liter bucket, so let's quickly get that one transported as well, and then I'll be with you shortly. Okay, so I've transported it from my pot to my 5-liter bucket that I have, and I've just got get that up close, my own homemade airlock. So this is just basically a one-way filter, an air filter. So as this builds pressure, it will go through the pipe. As you can see, the little bit there has water in. It will push through the water, push it up, and as it goes past, it will just go past there, run down to the bottom again. Now you can make this with a bigger loop, which normally works better, but I've seen in this instance the small one works very, very well with the right amount of water, especially with the end that goes straight up in the air. If this goes down, the water just flows out as it builds pressure. So I'm doing this just to eliminate it becoming vinegar faster. So just a simple airlock on this, and all that you need to do now, because it is still warm, get a blanket. Well, the beer is still warm, but it is fairly cold outside, so I'm just going to wrap it in a towel and then place it in a warm area in the house for 2 to 3 days. You can do it longer, you don't need to do it that in 2 to 3 days, but for the sake of this one, traditionally, as I said, they normally make it in 2 days. I'm going to try for 3, so let's see how that goes. This is the part that's not going to be the fun part, especially because I used the meal instead of the coarse sorghum and corn. So get started on this. This has been, I left it for 2 days now. As you can see, it's nice and watery on top. It's nice and bubbly. It smells like a beer. That fruity fermented flavor. So with this, the only thing I'm going to use is my strainer, a bucket to pour everything in, and just a cloth. Not a very, very fine cloth, because you are going to get a lot of sediment in this one, because as I said, I did not use the coarse sorghum or mealie meal. So this might take a little bit longer, and it's not a fun process. I'm just looking for my spoon. Okay. Reason I'm looking for a spoon as well, I'll show you while doing this. With the other ones, it went fairly fast. It went through the sieve at a decent pace, but with this one, what I've noticed is normally it gets stuck and it clogs all of the pores in the filter. So I'll quickly just move it down so I can show you. Okay, so over there we have it. And let's start. As you can see, I'm pouring, but you're not hearing anything yet. So same as with all of the others, you try and pour from the side, as you can see, onto the filter there. That just, if there is anything at the moment clogging it, it will just help stop that. If you see, if I just wait a little bit, you can normally see a nice line if it goes down. With this one, it doesn't go down. So what I'm going to do is just scoop that out. Now look at that on there. So as you can hear it dripping slowly. So I said this part is not the fun part, but the fun part comes in a little while. Drinking the beer. Okay, so I'm just going to speed some of this up so that you don't have to watch all of this, because it is a long process now. Okay, so after a very long time of filtering, I am complete. As you can see, there's still a lot in this as well. This was just some of the ones that I scraped through. It was not a very pleasant experience. So on to the next step. Let's see. As you can look at this, it is a runny liquid now. Just see if I can tilt that for you. So it is a thick runny material. So what we're going to do now is, as per the recipe says, we put this back into a bucket and let it stand for a little bit more. Now I have got this all over my hands, and regardless to say, I have tasted it, I have licked part off, and it is still very sweet, so it is still not 100% complete. So what I'm going to do now is just see if I can get it back into the bucket without wasting too much of it, and then from there we'll just let it stand for another day or two so that it can complete the fermentation process, and then we can drink it. So for the final step, we've let it stand for a while now, and it is ready to pour out and drink. So let me quickly show you how that's going to look. Okay, so I've poured myself a glass, and you can see the foamy bits on top. Means it's been standing well and fermenting, turning the sugars into alcohol. So let's give it a go. Definitely still a little bit fizzy from the yeast. It's got a very nice smell. It does taste like beer though, an all grain beer. Wonder if you can make whiskey with this. Really nice. It's got a creamy taste as well, so it fills the mouth, and I bet it will fill the stomach as well. So thank you for watching. Hope you stay tuned for more recipes coming up, and we'll see you on the next ones. Please like, comment and subscribe.